The most Googled questions about Passover? Well, we're here to answer them. So the first one is, what are you not allowed to do during Passover? Well, one thing is for sure. You are not allowed to eat chametz, any leavened food, meaning any flour that touched water and was not baked immediately thereafter is considered chametz. And so, for standard's sake, anything that's not kosher for Passover cannot be eaten over Passover. This is a severe prohibition, and that is the number one thing you cannot do during Passover. All other ones depends if it's Yom Tov or not. Passover is in Israel 7 days, outside Israel 8 days, and it starts off with a Yom Tov, a scriptural holiday, and it ends off with a Yom Tov, and the in-between days are called Chol HaMoed. I actually love the Spanish and Portuguese synagogues term for it. It's called the intermediary days. So on Yom Tov itself, all laws of Yom Tov apply, which is it's almost like the Sabbath, but you are allowed to cook and light from an existing flame. However, on Chol HaMoed, that's the intermediary days. On those days, you can go on trips, you can travel, but just you can't do work that can be pushed off for after Passover. That's the laws, follows the laws of Chol HaMoed. Second question, um, can a Christian celebrate Passover? It's a very good question because in biblical times, the actual Passover sacrifice was only allowed to be eaten by Jews. But nowadays, it's common for many people to have a Seder that is interfaith, and you have some people even do it before Passover. So I don't think there's any restriction on anything like that as long as you don't deny the meaning and essence of the holiday. But if someone wants to do that, I think it's done in the White House sometimes. Then there's no problem with that. The next thing is, can you make Passover bread? Well, Passover bread is known as matzah, and it's actually pretty easy to make. However, we only usually make it in a factory because of the strict rabbinic supervision needed to make sure it doesn't rise, that the dough doesn't rise. But definitely, if you're in a place where you have that kind of oven and you have the means to produce water and flour that come together and do it really quickly and put them on the fire and or in the oven, like you know whether it's like the Bedouins do it or other groups do, then by all means go for it. But usually you need a rabbinic supervision to make sure it's going well. Next is, what's appropriate greeting for Passover? Are you allowed to say a blessed Passover? So I don't think, as long as it's done in goodwill, I don't think anyone's going to take offense to whatever you say. But the standard is to say Happy Passover, and if you're using Hebrew, you can say Chag Sameach or Pesach Kasher V'Sameach. Those are different things that you can say on Passover as Passover greetings. Next is, are you able to eat corn on Passover? Very good question, because it depends if you come from Ashkenazi Jewish heritage or Sephardic/Mizrahi Jewish heritage. Ashkenazi Jews refrain from eating any legumes, even though it's not biblically mandated for historical reasons. They avoid things like rice, beans, and yes, many also avoid corn. And so that's if you're Ashkenazi. But if you're not careful with kitniyot, you're a Sephardic Jew, you're a Mizrahi Jew, or you think you follow your rabbi who says that corn is not considered part of that prohibition, that is absolutely permitted. Next question is a really good one. Can you work during Passover? So, like I said before, it depends if you're talking about the first days, the last days, intermediary days, and whether it's work that can be pushed off for after the holiday. So ideally, yes, you should take off all of the Passover, but certain things that you can't push off, you can do on Chol HaMoed on the intermediary days, the days in between the first holiday and the last holiday, the 15th of Nisan and the 21st of Nisan. Next, can you eat during Passover? Well, you have to make sure you find your proper kind of food. I have with me right here these matzahs. That's definitely something you can eat. But yes, as long as it's kosher for Passover, you can eat. On Passover. Next question goes back to what we discussed before: is can you travel during Passover? The answer is depends. If you're in the first days, last days, or intermediary days, you can travel away, ideally to a good trip. Next is, are you allowed to shave during Passover? Very good question, and the answer is no. there is no shaving during Passover, or for that matter, on the holiday of Sukkot. Can I cook during Passover? Once again, depends. First days, last days, if it's Yom Tov, you're allowed to cook using an existing flame, given that it's not Shabbat. And in the intermediary days, you're just allowed to cook freely. Next, can you fast during Passover? No, because you're supposed to enjoy the holiday. You're supposed to have some food and enjoy yourself. What can't you do during Passover? Like I said, can't eat chametz. You cannot uh, have anything that's not kosher for Passover. And following the laws of Yom Tov, you can't do things that are forbidden on Yom Tov. You can't do things that are forbidden on Chol HaMoed. But can you eat meat is the next question, and that is, of course, there is a mitzvah, there's a commandment to eat meat on Passover, meat and wine if you can, unless it causes you distress. You're a vegan, you're a vegetarian, then no need to do it. Can you drink for Passover? As long as you're drinking kosher for Passover and it's not beer, go for it. Next, can you go out during Passover? So yes, on Yom Tov you can't drive a car, but you can definitely go out on walk around your neighborhood. Can you eat popcorn on Passover? Same answer as corn. Depends what your kitniot custom is. And this one I love is Passover, a happy holiday. It's a very happy holiday. It is one of the three festivals. It's one of the three holidays in which the Jews would go to the Beit HaMikdash, the temple in Jerusalem. What is a Passover Seder? Well, on the first and second nights of Passover, Jews come together around the table and they follow what's called a Seder, which literally means order, in which they go through the different steps of the rituals of the Passover night, all the way from drinking the 4 cups of wine to eating their matzah and going through all the stages of Passover. If you have any question that I did not address, definitely leave a comment and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you for listening, and happy Passover to you and your family.